Hello, hello. Welcome to episode 68 of the Lorethrough. We're going to be doing a little bit of catch-up as we always do. Here we are at Seluvis's Rise, and we're going to speak with Seluvis because I forgot to check if he had any bonus dialogue after defeating Radon.
I've no time for idle chit-chat. The only thing I will hear from you is a report of your task's completion. Are we understood? Then off you trot. I have enough on my plate.
So he won't talk to us unless we do something with that potion he wants us to give to Nefeli Lu, which we are intentionally putting off to see more content, so we will be back here. So we're going to head to the Roundtable Hold, because we have slayed another demigod, our third, essentially. Though Renala somehow lived through the ordeal, let's see if our good buddy Gideon has anything to say on the matter.
Journey to the capital, Lendell, to the east of the Altus Plateau, at the foot of the Erd Tree. The Two Fingers will deny your passage no longer. You may be our best hope. Find your way to the Elden Ring. General Radon, he fought Malin, and by my though, I doubt it.
Nope, he has nothing to say to us. Figures. But Enya and the Two Fingers might have something to say, so let's speak with them.
You have returned. What is it?
So now we can receive, so we have the Remembrance of the Star Scourge. Oh, right.
Now let the
So we have the Remembrance of the Star Scourge and the Remnants of the Great Rune. So let's take a look. It should be over here somewhere. There it is. Radon's Great Rune. Great Rune of the Shardbearer Radon, devoid of any benediction. Seek the Divine Tower of Caelid, which stands upon the precipice at the Dragon Barrow shore. So we do have good, quick access to that. It looks like the Great Rune is pockmarked, actually, a little bit. Almost like it itself was afflicted with the Scarlet Rot, which is quite grim to imagine. But we also have his Remembrance. Let's take a look at that. Remembrance of Star Scourge Radon, hewn into the Erd Tree. The power of its namesake can be unlocked by the Finger Reader. Alternatively, it can be used to gain a great bounty of runes. The Red Lion General wielded gravitational powers which he learned in Celia during his younger days. Also, he would never have to abandon his beloved but scrawny steed. How adorable. And we learned that his name was Leonard thanks to the game files. So I love that. So yeah, there's our final connection right there. The Red Lion General wielded gravitational powers which he learned in Celia, which is funny because we also learned that he learned them not just in Celia, but from an Alabaster Lord, according to the gravitational item descriptions, gravitational sorcery item descriptions. And so he's an animal lover. We also learned from the old item description from the Silver Cat Talisman that lets you fall a little farther. Let's see if I have that on hand. I do. So the old cat talisman description reads, a brooch depicting a long-tailed cat known to be the beloved pet of General Radon. This black cat was known to have enjoyed jumping down from great heights. It would leap up from the great bell tower of Rea Lucaria as a kitten, and once fully grown from the great heavensward roots that twisted through the Erd Tree capital skies. So it seems a little exaggerated, and it's not in the game anymore, so take it with a grain of salt. But characterizing Star Scourge Radon as an animal lover, it just makes him like wholesome in a funny way, considering how grim it was when we found him. His mind rotten away essentially by the Scarlet Rot, and him being little more than a raging animal in the wilds. But we can now receive the Equipment of Champions. So the first equipment we can buy is, of course, the Queen's set. And now we can buy Radon's set. Oh, shucks.
now let the
I was slightly short on money. That's on me. Just break one of these real fast. Yeah, that's enough. Good. There we go. So let's take a look at that set while we were thinking about it. Good. Sort by acquisition. Helm of the Golden Lion with flowing red hair, worn by General Radon. Radon inherited the furious flaming red hair of his father, Radigan, and is fond of its heroic implications. I was born a champion's cub, now I am the lord of the battlefield's lion. And it's funny because Lion is a huge icon of Lord Godfrey, as we know, thanks to Siraj, Counselor of the Golden Lineage. And yet it seems he's adopted both icons. And the Golden Lion is said to symbolize Godfrey, there it is, the first Elden Lord, and his beast regent Siraj. From his youngest years, Radon was naturally captivated by the Lord of the Battlefield. So, yeah, he obviously had a twofold inspiration. It seems that everything else has the same description, save the head. So it's good to check everything in case there are different descriptions between head, chest, gloves, pants, etc. So that's something else we learned. Let's see if we can get to the item descriptions of the items without maybe having to run to a mausoleum to make both really fast. Alright. Curved greatsword of black steel wielded by General Radon. A pair of weapons decorated with a lion mane motif. Radon entered considerable renown as the Star Scourge in his youth, and it is said that it was during this time he engraved the gravity crest upon these blades. So kind of interesting that he had these black steel swords, right? And he put the gravity sigil on it himself. And sure enough, whenever we cast a gravity sorcery, a sigil in that shape appears, though it's purple, not gold. And the lion great bow of black iron wielded by General Radon, decorated with a lion mane motif, imbued with gravitational power of the Star Scourge. When used along with a Radon spear, it becomes a true weapon of a champion. And sure enough, if we receive the equipment of the champions, we can now buy an infinite amount of Radon spears, right? Great arrows used by General Radon during the Festival of Combat. These are, in fact, the many spears with which he was stabbed by the Clean Wrought Knights, imbued with Radon's gravitational power. So it's kind of interesting that it looks like their spear to begin with, and it looks like it's just been refashioned into an arrow. Kind of funny how if you want that spear, you have to go farm it, but if you want to use an arrow, you can buy them for 800 a pop here. All right, and I do want to show off his weapons.
Let the words of the fingers guide you.
So we will get those together, and then we will go do that dungeon at the end of Caelid. And then we have the real Red Maiden Castle to handle before we get to the Starfall Crater. So give me one moment. So we find ourselves back on the battlefield, these sandy dunes in Caelid. We even see some boats out in the distance, curiously enough. Makes me wonder if perhaps Malenia's invasion was one that came by sea, and this was actually the first and major front of the battle, and it was pushed to the Aeonian swamp. It doesn't seem to make too much sense from what we see that Malenia came from the other direction. But she might have. I guess we did see the stone monument in Liurnia of her southward march. So perhaps he was pushed all the way to the edge of Caelid by Malenia's forces. And that's when she went nuclear, because Malenia can't stand to lose. But we are heading north here to the catacombs. I need to follow the beach a little more. Still such a huge arena. Just massive. Are these some old boat parts? Yep. Rope, wood, crashed up on the beach here. Though it seems the closer we get to this edge of the battlefield, the less we see. Oh, there's a little boat, little skiff there. Maybe a canoe. And there's the door. We can see it faintly in the distance. I did take the time to go gather some of the boss weapons, because we can use them, because they're strength weapons. Well, with an int requirement on one of them, which that's our build essentially, so I'll be able to show those off in this catacomb as well. I still need to show off Godric's weapons, but it takes faith and dex in addition to a big strength requirement. There's a huge spread there. Kind of, I wonder if it's to exemplify that Godric split himself in too many directions, right? Oh, right. Oh, I forgot. I'm going to do it before I forget. Radon's Great Rune. Divine Tower. We already cleared out the Divine Tower, so we just need to warp over there. But let's get up there and get that Great Rune and see if there's any interesting details. Then we'll head back to that dungeon. Thankfully, we grabbed the Grace, so it'll be a quick jaunt. Heading all the way up here, past all these nicely etched hallways. We now have access to this big old door, and we can push that open. And, well, I did talk about in an earlier episode how there didn't seem to be an elevator to get up into the place. It seems interesting that the elevator is so close to the top of the tower anyways. I guess the Grace is called the center. Wonder that window goes. You don't see many open windows in this place. Most of them seem to be holed up. This Divine Tower seems to have more gaps in it. 4 windows. More of these strange sparkly bits in the stone. Couldn't tell you what they are. It is strange that they're here, though. And, of course, the fog rolls in when we get up here. Why wouldn't it? And we have even more climbs, so perhaps that was the midway point on the tower, and we weren't as high up as I thought we were. But sure enough, we have another one of these places with a sand pit in the middle, another set of dead fingers, much like Godric's. And the wounds, it looks like the one we see on our own 2 fingers in the Roundtable Hold, are here. But these wounds aren't full of meat, they're full of wood. Very odd. And here we get the Great Rune. So let's touch that. And it really looks like a fragment of a rune until we pick it up. Even there, look, it's full of pockmarks and holes. Doesn't look nearly as, honestly, it looks less orderly than Godric's rune. Godric is a very chaotic rune. But let's take a look at this one. So, a Great Rune of the Shardbearer Radon. Its blessing raises max HP, FP, and stamina. So if you're good on your stats, unlike me, who is trying to show off way too much, then this is a great rune to start using. At first, it's a great rune. Wow. Radon was amongst the children of Renala and Radagon, who became demigod stepchildren after Radagon's union with Queen Marika. So it seems that the definition of demigod is very disparate and all over the place in this game. You can become a demigod simply by being associated with the family of Marika. The Great Rune burns to resist the encroachment of the Scarlet Rot. So sure enough, the Scarlet Rot is even affecting the rune, which is so sad. It almost makes me wonder if we got not even a full Great Rune, because part of it has been eaten away. If in times past it was more powerful, and Radon was even more epic in terms of his scope. Alright, now let's get to the More Dead Catacombs, show off a couple of the items that we've grabbed in previous episodes, and do it quickly to finish it. So first things first, I've got a great bow, I have Rain of Arrows, right? Have the right talisman, and here we have ghosts of Clean Rot and Redmane soldiers fighting each other, but we can shoot them, and as you can see, it was a pretty tight burst there. We can grab the line great bow. Oh, that'd be fun to use this. It doesn't hit so much unless the target is huge. Oh. But it hits in a wider area more often. Now we can show off these bad boys. Now, are these fellows worth fighting? Maybe not. And they're just beefy. But they give a lot of money. Some people would passively farm money here. It is an option. Not one I would pick, per se, but yeah, so there's that ability. And the other major ability is we can do this gravity thing, which pulls and then slams, which it does okay damage. But the Starscourge Greatswords, they're okay. I think they're better in PvE than they probably are in PvP. It's kind of fun how the crouch attack is this double cleaver slam looking thing. There we go. Ow, they hit real hard. Very rude. But they will come back infinitely, so it's not really worth getting stuck in a fight with them. You're better off just letting them fight each other. And I'm out of stamina. Because I overexerted. I'm not used to the huge weapons in this game. Seems interesting that ghosts, whether they be a part of the faction of the Banished Knights, whether they be a part of the Redmanes, the Exiled Soldiers, or the Clean Rots, they all, or even the Mausoleum Soldiers, they all get that stupid teleportation ability. Okay. So now we are going to grab a tasty item, Bloodhound Step on it. I don't know what else I'm going to put on this character for now. I need to redo my spells, but we're going to come down here. I believe there are things to grab. I'm probably going about it in a horrible order. But it's okay. I have preserving boluses for this very reason. This rot is not nearly as potent as the rot in the Swamp of Aeonia, I think I should note. How the rot got here, I couldn't tell you. There's a Dark Souls 3 treasure chest here, where we can get collapsing stars. And what else? I think there's a little corner we need to explore. I don't like that we've been spotted. Hopefully we've used the aggro. Okay. Big ol' imps. Tasty gloveworts. We'll just let them do their thing. We'll just let them do their thing. Those stairs are out. We have to find the stairs that are still functional. There we are. So now we are out of here. I feel like I should probably show off the great bows one more time as a regular great bow. Are you kidding me? It's pretty hard. There we go. Taken care of. It does okay damage. Ooh. It's not the most effective way to fight him, but really? There we go. So, showing off a little bit about them. They're neat, they're nice. It's nice to have both options. The major difference is, yeah, the great bow has lower requirements in terms of, well, I guess they have the same in terms of points, but the Lion Great Bow takes 22 strength, 18 dex, which might be a little easier for some builds to wield. I am being hit by something. Really now, buddy? Oh, shucks. I didn't think the knight would come help. That's funny. I hate how much health they have. It's just a huge amount of health. But yeah, these guys not worth fighting. Honestly, if you can feasibly run past them all, I would recommend that. And they're very resistant to the types of damage I wish to inflict upon them. Are you kidding me? Always the hammer. Oh. I got stumbled into an attack. How often have you seen Cragblade used as an attack? Didn't think so. There we go. Ah, how many of these guys are there? I did mention earlier that the guys, at least in the center, seem to be infinite. There you go. Dealt with. Let's switch to something a little more helpful. Well, for one, I haven't had my staff in my bar in ages. Well, not in ages. I haven't been using any of the offensive sorceries by the feel of it. Okay. So we get some basic red mane foot soldiers. And they have these open windows that they kind of want to trick you into jumping off of or out of. But you really need to wait till the last one. Oh, come on. There we go. I feel like I should grab... I don't even know. Here's an idea. An idea that might work. Make it magic. Okay. So what we do is we channel this bad boy. And then we keep it like this. So that way we have a nice stumble. Followed up by quick pokes. Ah, very nice. The buff already wore off. Ooh. I need to get out of here. I don't like fighting these guys. A lot of resistances. They seem tougher than most of the rest of the zone. I've wasted way too many healing supplies getting to this point due to me being a failure. But we'll make it work, nonetheless. Now we can hop down here above where those imps were. And we've thankfully already killed the archer through the window. There we go. And we have one more person in here to deal with. Oh, I was wrong. There's imps on the outside. Oh, good. And sure enough, their spear kind of looks like the great arrows that Radon uses, that are much more slender in his hands. Or in the hands of these clean rots than it is whenever we use it. It feels like they're chunkier. Like they stretched the model or something. Alright, in here, get the Radon Soldier Ashes. This is a pretty good ash, honestly. They're really aggressive. You get 2 of them. Do good damage, have good health pools. Worthwhile. And then through the opening, you find the Crank. So we can then go hit the Grace, get our flasks back, and run straight to the boss, and hopefully not take too long, because we still have Redbane Castle ahead. Okay. We got our rest in. I'm trying to figure out what we ought to use on the boss. I always get concerned about what I ought to be using on the boss. Could use these. They wouldn't be the worst. Honestly, the dual pickaxes are growing on me. I should get better with them. But yeah, they're all fighting each other enough that as long as you enter past them quick enough, you'll do just fine. And here we have a putrid tree spirit instead of an ulcerated. Probably because, ow, I was going to say just because this one's probably rot flavored. Ooh, that was a big damage. Ouch. I rolled away too soon. But still, the mist does great work because it's so huge. Yep. And if he does that little scream, he's gonna explode. He's gotta listen. It's quiet. It feels muffled almost like he's screaming with his mouth shut. Well, there goes our good buddy. But nothing we can't handle. Red Mage Knight Ogha and a golden seed and 76k runes. Very nice. Okay. So let's read the description for Red Mage Knight Ogha and those Red Mage soldiers in case we get any extra bonus details. Ashen Mage in which spirits yet dwell. Use to summon the spirits of 2 Radahn soldiers. Both spirits wield fiery weapons to perform powerful skills. Such is their valor that they will immediately attack after being summoned. Jal Radahn soldiers were all reputed to be masterful warriors, and it was popularly said that the Red Mages knew no weakness. Alright, and Red Mage Knight Ogha. Spirit of a mighty knight, versed in the use of a great bow. A valiant warrior who will attack immediately after being summoned. The longest serving member of the Red Mage Knights, Ogha studied techniques to manipulate gravity alongside Radahn. May use a rain of gravitational arrows in response to a war cry, but only once. Okay, that's something I need to test. I never read that before, that I've noticed. But yeah, we should try a war cry and see if Red Mage Ogha will do a rain of arrows. And if the rain of arrows is as intense as the Red Mage Knights that we normally associate with, like the one outside Fort Gale that does the really long trail of arrows. I meant to go all the way too. Let's start. So let's switch out Lutel for Ogha. And I'm going to test this. This will be good times. I need to put Aurora on something. Probably this Vihander. I don't know.
Greet, are you here for...
Let's, so we can upgrade once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, not 5 times. So a little weaker than Lutel in terms of upgrade level, but that's okay. I don't think I have Aurora much anything else. Do I? Do have a couple, but I was going to show those off later. Yeah, we'll put a new Aurora on it. Okay. Ashes of War. Don't know what I was thinking. Savage combos, charging attacks. We'll try Warcry. We will give Warcry a go. Sure enough, I want to see this happen. Okay. And hopefully we can summon her as a part of, or her, him, them, Ogha. I didn't get a he or she. Doesn't matter. Alright, we have this whole little area to loot. I will go as fast as is reasonable since it's a zone we've pretty much already seen. If I can summon Ogha anywhere else, I will do so. Oh, right. Okay, it's coming back to me. So, there's no fog wall here, which means we need to go talk to a fellow in here. Kind of interesting that Theralina's still here. Still, she just bows, doesn't say anything. the others' ghostly visages are still here. But it's on our way to enter the chapel. Then Jera and... well, we don't know him. Maybe he'll introduce him.
At last, the war festival has ended.
Brave champion, you have our gratitude. The celebration was spectacular. General Radahn is surely pleased. Festering with rot and crippled by madness, all he wanted was an honorable death.
Nice.
Finally, my work is done. I'm no longer bound to this fortress. I have a task in mind. Old business, you could say. You wouldn't understand. May we meet again, if the fates deign it. Brave champion.
So he seems pleased with us, and he seemed he had some sort of pact with Radahn to make sure that Radahn died in honorable combat.
It's time I went on my way. May we meet again, if the fates deign it.
Okay.
It's time. May we meet.
And that's all he has to say to us. But now, if we teleport back to the chamber outside the plaza, we should have a fog wall for that whole area now. And sure enough, there it is. Okay, which means this place is now populated with enemies. Look at that. Wow. Oh, they're getting team killed. Okay, I don't even know where to start, really. But I'm going to go the fast route, which means not looting every conceivable thing. So there's an Iron Virgin out here for some reason, an Abductor Virgin. And it has a mismatch of weapons. It has one hook arm and one spinny arm. So, kind of a weird hybrid. Here we find the Red Hot Wet Blade, which is a very nice wet blade because it lets us put faith-infused fire infusions on anything, just about. So that is worthwhile. Man, these guys are a lot weaker than the ones in that catacomb. Let's read the description for that item while we're thinking about it. Red Hot Wet Blade with a cipher engraved can be used as a whetstone knife. When applying an affinity using a physical or flame type Ash of 4, an additional affinity of fire or flame art can be chosen. Fire being the strength scaling, fire damage affinity, and flame art being the fate scaling one. So this is a place you can get to relatively early on if you need more infusions for, like, say, a faith build, which is very nice. Fire is weaker in water, so that is something to be wary about, whether rolling in it or being rained upon. Come on, buddy. Come mess me up. Do it. Oh, right, Warcry gets rid of a buff. Dishonor on you. Okay. And what's this? Ah, large smithing stone. Kinda worth it. Okay. And while we're in this up above part, we can actually jump down to this little overhang, which gets us back to the Grace almost instantly. And then we can head in the opposite direction and loot what's over there. Ah, dagger. Worthless. Honestly. Kind of feel bad for the dagger. It was kind of the poster boy for crit damage in most of the Souls games. And then the Misericord shows up with its 140 crit rating, like... who came up with that idea? Who decided to outclass the regular old dagger? It's supposed to be a sleeper weapon. Oh, I got aim punched. Oh, that feels so bad. He did so many of those spins. Why did it smack his head? Oh, that's probably because that's where the lock-on is. There we go. Sanctuary Stone. The Flamberge, which is nice. Let's read that description. Scarlet Rot is kept at bay with flame at Redmane Castle, and as such, this beloved sword of Jaren's eventually became a symbol of the castle itself. So Jaren doesn't introduce himself to us, from what I can tell. Instead, we learn his name through the Flamberge's item description, at least at earliest. That's where we read it. There's other item descriptions that give more, but for the time being, that's our one hint as to what that Lanchnet guy's name is. Okay. Dang. I'm trying to go fast, but there's a little more content than I imagined. We'll finish Redmane Castle, don't you fret. I know you're fretting down there. Wherever you are, beloved viewer. Always fretting over me. It's quite endearing, really. Alright. Let's get down here. Thankfully, we have dealt with the lions in the courtyard. So they are gone. We don't need to worry. I didn't even loot this thing after I killed him. I'm not a very good adventurer, as you can tell. Alright, Smith and Stone. And in there is that page we fought earlier, and now the doors are open. We killed this fellow for his delicious red flasks. There we are. Should probably be using Radahn's swords a little more. I was hoping to get to Roar next to Ogha sooner, but it may not happen. Alright, and the Armorer's Cookbook. So the Armorer's Cookbook, the Flamberge, and the Flamin' Hot Cheeto Wet Blade is exactly what you need from this area. And in the back, there's, of course, the Beetle and the bunch of bats by the graveyard with Flaming Slash, which I need to show off still. In fact, I wish you could put Flaming Slash on his Zweihander. That'd probably be way too good. You can put Sacred Blade on his Zweihanders and Chilling Mists. You can get a Slash-type attack out of an Ash of War on his Zweihander, but just not Flaming Strike. That'd be too good, it seems. Which is kind of a shame. Alright, what to put it on? Because I should put Flaming Strike on something. I'm so sad that we can't. Yeah, we can put Flame of the Redmanes, but not Flaming Strike. Feels bad. Lion's Claw, Storm Stomp. Honestly, it feels like a halberd weapon to me. I think I have another thing with Chilling Mist on it, maybe? Yeah. I'm gonna put it on this halberd. Flame and Strike. And we can make it fire infused, or we can leave it as heavy, and that's what I'm gonna do. Okay. So sure enough, we will use the Zweihander for part of this fight. Give it the Roar so that Ogha hopefully uses her ability, or his. I don't know. Did I misread the description? I get Lutel mixed up with Ogha, and I shouldn't. Yeah. Because Lutel is definitely specified as a she, and that's probably what's throwing me off so much. Alright, so we'll pop one of these bad boys. Get in here. Kind of funny. And we have a Crucible Knight who just flew down. So we have to finish this ASAP. I don't know why I picked the big sword. Seems fitting. Ooh. I need a moment to heal. Do you mind? But Ogha is very aggressive up close, which I really like. Silly Crucible Knight. I have been parrying you boys for quite some time. Ah, shucks. Ah. You jump at them, not away from them. That's the key. I'm gonna try to signal the war cry, hopefully. Unless Ukha finishes off the enemy. Come on, Ukha. Use your rain of arrows. Oh, there it is. Yeah! Oh, it did 17 damage. That's so sad. I only flattened him, but that was funny looking. But yeah, you can trigger a rain of arrows from Ukha. I didn't know that they would do that. I thought that was something special to one particular enemy outside of Fort Gale. But now we have the Rune's Greatsword, which honestly we're starting to get the trifecta together of the big strength weapons with an in requirement. There's the Rune's Greatsword, there's the Star Scourge, and then there's another weapon later on, just big weapons. And we have access to now this. Very silly Ash of War. I'll have to do some inventory management because I do want this to be part of the kit. But the Rune's Greatsword is a phenomenal pick. I really like it. A short Greatsword, so as an actual Colossal Greatsword, it's a little short, but it does good damage. The Charged Heavy has this little gravity shockwave that hits after the initial hit, which I think is really neat. That kind of shores up a few of its weaknesses. Just having 2 hits on a Colossal, very fun. And then, of course, this big old wave of destruction. Let's read its description while we're here. Originally rubble from a ruin which fell from the sky, this surviving fragment was honed into a weapon, one of the legendary armaments. The ruin it came from crumbled when struck by a meteorite. As such, this weapon harbors its destructive power. And don't you know, looking at it, it's kind of got those swirling etch patterns, kind of reminiscent of the Divine Tower. Though it looks like somebody carved like 2 edges of blade into either side of it. See that? And then who knows what the gold inlay is. Maybe that's a remnant of the gravity meteorite that hit the whatever structure in the sky where all these ruins keep coming from. Somebody ought to really clean this up. But yeah, wave of destruction. Good times. But we went a little long today, but it'll be good for a good cause, because next time I believe we can head straight to the Starfall crater. And that will be very exciting. Get a little more lore. Not too much, but just a smidge. Because we're going to have to stop Ronnie's quest line after that point. Early. Intentionally. To get as much as we can out of other quest lines. But it'll be for a good cause. I'll see you later and have yourself a good one. Bye-bye.